White Noise. My name's Marty, and today we're going to be looking at my BP Laser Kickstarter Terrain Challenge. So what's happened is the guys at BP Laser have been nice enough to send White Noise a corridor set for review. So this is the set which is available on their Kickstarter for 300 Australian dollars, which was, what's that, about £1 realistically, so you get some good exchange rates there. So they sent it across to us, and Ben's handballed this one straight to me and said, "This is all yours, Marty." So just to preface this, I'm not a hobbyist at all. I've had a little bit of experience building MDF terrain previously, but not much, and I've found it very difficult, the kits that I've built before, and some of them I've actually given up on. So I was really actually quite nervous about doing this challenge, and Ben was pretty nervous as well, so we'll see how we went. So listen, all up, the terrain came in sort of pack kits. So I will preface this by saying I wasn't sent the MDF on sprue. Obviously, I think the guys have gone through and just checked it out how they're going to work the Kickstarter. So I did get about 2 mispacks, but overall I was only short about 2 pieces, so no issues there at all realistically. The terrain itself was really easy to put together for a person like me. It didn't come with any instructions. It does come with a picture of what the finished product looked like, but even a numpy like me, as far as building stuff goes, I really did not have any trouble. All I did was dry fit them a couple of times, put them together, work out how it all went, and listen, the cuts were really clean, they were really good, and like I said, I didn't actually have a problem fitting anything together at all. And it's nice, the terrain itself comes with a little bit of laser cut card which you can glue on the top of it to basically pretty it up, so that was really good. So for the corridor set, all up, it probably took me just over a full day time-wise as far as building and constructing goes. So all up, probably took me about 4 or 5 days in total, but as far as time itself, and that's spending, you know, one or 2 hours every day getting the terrain built. But all up, I'd say it probably took me about a full day, maybe just over, time-wise, to build the terrain. All I used was basically the kits, a little sort of pin vise like a clamp, and some basic wool glue. So I didn't sand down any of the notches or anything like that sort of stuff. That's not what I wasn't going to do this for this. Now I had a chat to Trent at one of our tournaments, and his is all painted. And basically I asked him how he did his, and he basically painted all his terrain. He's got a BP laser set as well, which is slightly different to the one that was sent to us. He's got a BP laser set as well, and he said it took him about 4 days. So he's painted everything and then put it together afterwards. And his set looks really nice, and I posted a picture up on that on the White Noise Facebook page. So positive. So I've played a game, and you'll see some videos in a moment with Jason. It played really well. I really enjoyed it. It looks really good. I was a bit nervous about how it all goes together, and realistically, I'm going to need some time to practice putting it together. So just having a look at it here. So this is the corridor set. So we've got certain pieces here. So you can see here, you know, you've got this. You sort of got a base. You've got some side walls, and you've got some brackets which hold it all together. Now, I needed a bit of practice first to try and, this was my first proper attempt at putting it all together. It went together reasonably easy. You can see there's a few bits which don't quite marry up here. So you can see it sort of splay. That's because I haven't measured and got the same sort of like pieces up at other ends as well. So it comes with some corridors, it comes with some bulkheads with doors that sort of open and close. It comes with like a central lift piece here, which I think looks really nice. A little bit concerned it was over-engineered, so this piece here actually sits inside. So someone who's really smart, I suppose, could put a piece of wire on that and move it up and down if you're going to do that. And this is what I was talking about here with the laser cut card. So you've got the piece of wood, and then you've got a bit of card which sticks on the top. And when it sits in the actual terrain itself, it looks quite nice. Now, so you can either play with the board like this, or, so one of the tournaments I went to, so the first buildings I built were these big 4-door rooms. Now this is actually the size of the old armoury, so if they do bring back some armoury style missions, these can slot right in. So it's nice, the doors on this sort of clip click right on without any much of an issue. And I've got to say, you do get plenty of doors in this pack, so I don't think one thing you're going to be short of is doors. Now what I did when I went to this tournament, and just as I talk about how easy they went on, this one struggles just slightly. What I did to this tournament is I basically took these 4-door buildings and stacked them on top of each other. And I played that just as a piece of terrain. So I played it as a broken building. So there was no lifts inside or anything like that. And if you wanted to get to the top, then you had to climb. So you can obviously angle the doors as you want to, but this is actually just a nice piece of terrain as far as gaming goes. So we played it, the roof had been blown off, so there was no cover on top. There's obviously some cover down there if you want to climb some people up. So there's a lot of terrain here. So I was just talking with Jason about it, you know, if you want to even use some pieces. So we've got the vault corridor here. So we've got like a vault door which goes in, closes and then locks in place. I'm sure you can magnetise that if you wanted to. But, you know, even if you're going to, and so I can show you how sort of easily it all sort of fits together. So we've got sort of a long corridor there. Let's say we're going to just put something like this and put a bulkhead door on the end. All of a sudden that's a nice big piece of terrain, even maybe not a bit too big for a normal game. So even if you're just looking for something to bulk up your table, this is a really good idea, and then you can switch out between playing a normal match or playing a corridor match. So listen, I really enjoyed it. Negatives, listen, I don't have too many. Like I said, I did have a couple of mispacks, but like I said, I didn't receive this on sprue, so I wouldn't look too much into that. I suppose it would have been nice to have my first thought was it'd be nice to have some instructions, but as I said before, I didn't need it. Just dry fit everything first. As far as the modular goes, so it all sort of fits together. I haven't worked out how it's going to store yet. I'm assuming some pieces are going to sort of fit inside each other, so just looking at that now, so we've already fit a short corridor and a bulkhead inside there. You'll fit a fair few of these doors, so the terrain comes with a lot of sort of doors which you can use to block line of sight. So just for an example here, so this is the sort of the standard door that you get, and this clips on to any part of the terrain and just sits in there like that. So yeah, so the laser challenge didn't take me too long. Like I said, I'm still sort of playing around with it. I'm going to have a go at painting it, and we'll see how that looks, and we'll throw that in the comments section. But all up, and like I said, they did send it to us, but like I said, I'd have no issue buying this at all. I think it's really good value for money. So you're going to get a full table's worth of terrain with the corridor set, and there's some good add-ons as well, which you can have a crack at. But apart from that, like I said, I think this table's going to be going to a few of the tournaments in my local meta in the future, and we'll see how it goes. If you have any questions, please hit us up. Either send us an email, benandmarty@outlook.com.au, or hit us up on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/white. Ben and Marty. Hit up a question in the comments, and I'll sort of let you know any questions about it. But like I said, full 4x4 table, no issue at all. Just as far as movement goes, so what I've done is I've got my normal battle mat, just turned it upside down so I've got the rough edge, and I found that this terrain, once it's on there, doesn't sort of move around at all. If you want to know what comes in the corridor set, there's a pack on the Kickstarter webpage, which you can find quite easily just by doing a search for BP Laser Kickstarter terrain. And so there's just a quick example where you can use some corners to make a quick corridor. And like I said, if you don't want to play a corridor table, you can bulk out quite easily a normal table. Just even using these bulkhead pieces, you can play that as some ruins for those people that are clever. And something like that's going to provide some good line of sight. It's taller than a silhouette too. Yeah, you know, that would also provide cover to tag. So even just throwing that out just by itself is the sort of thing that I would do for a normal table. So yeah, we've got bulkheads, we've got long corridors, we've got short corridors. So there's an example of the long corridor there, which is sort of 3 sections, and there's a shorter corridor on top of that. But listen, really good. Thanks so much to the guys from BP Laser sending it out to us. I hope the Kickstarter has been funded. I think the first kits are already being sent out as we speak. But listen, this was the White Noise BP Laser Terrain Challenge. So listeners, I'm joined here for a game with Jason, and we've just finished deployment. What I'm going to do now is Jason's seen the board for the first time when he's walked in today. We're going to have a look at the board, get his thoughts on it, have a chat about deployment, and then we'll see how the game goes. So Jason, welcome to White Noise.
Hi.
Thanks for coming over for the game. So looking at the table, we've got 2 deployment zones as we normally would. We've got a deployment zone which, so we're playing acquisition, has got probably better access to the tech coffin than the other side here. So this is how the board's sort of set up. So I'm running limited insertion NCA list. So I've got a 5-man bolt link over here. I've got an Aquila Guard with a TO camo marker, a trauma dock, and there's a peacemaker sort of in deployment over there. Now it looks sort of very busy. What's your initial thoughts about the setup?
The table?
Yeah.
My initial thought was that it looks really hard to play on. It's not as bad as I thought. Like, I'm trying to approach it with an open mind.
Yep.
The biggest problem I found at the moment is that, like, I took this zone here to get easy access to the central door, central objective. But in doing so, like, the Star Trek doors, I'm not be able to do anything there at all until they're open.
Yeah.
And like my deployment zone is like way back from them, so I've got no AROs until they're open.
So my initial thoughts is in a corridor table like this, that suppressive fire is going to be huge because you're going to have an opportunity to move up, sort of in cover, put yourself in suppressive fire, and wait for people to come through. So you're running you're playing Onyx. So we've got a 4-man unit on link with
two plasma FOs.
Yep.
K1 with Tinbot.
Yep.
There's a plasma sniper.
And the next attacker.
And the next attacker. Normally I'd run the Spitfire, but I wanted the K1 to try and protect the hacker. So there's Kernal, who's being proxy because he's not painted. Q-Drone, HMG. Icadron. And that's obviously a Sphinx.
Yep. And we've also got in here another
super obvious Malignos, yes.
Yes. All right, so that's set up. So like I said, there's a few sort of corridor or fire lanes. So we're going to play the doors are going to open automatically. So as you move through the door will open and it's going to stay open for the rest of the game. So we've got sort of a couple of channels down here, a central channel which goes through the middle, and another channel here with my peacemaker. So we've purposely left some space in the bigger rooms for drop troops because obviously you go to a tournament, you don't want to be spending good money or good points on drop troopers and then not be able to use them. And also in where there's any doors in the side of the table, you can walk in if able. And so there's a door over this side here as well. So we'll see how we go. Jason, best of luck to you.
You too.
I won the deployment role, or the role. So I've taken initiative. I'm going to go first. I deployed first, and we'll see how we go. So welcome back, listeners. We finished our game. Jason was the eventual winner with his Onyx, taking out the game 6-1. He managed to flip the tech coffin over here with the little sink spot, control it with the Sphinx. You got the Malignos in the middle, controlling the tech coffin, and I controlled the other communications array, and Jason also got his classified, which is Extreme Prejudice. Jason, how'd you find the table? Put it like this, you had a bit of trepidation at the start of the match. You thought it was going to be quite difficult to play on. How'd you find it?
If I was more aware of how the table was laid out with the doors, it would have been a lot more different. Otherwise it was fine. Like, I expected it to be a lot worse, but it's okay. It
wasn't as bad as you thought it was?
No.
And why is that? What was a bit easier that you thought than what you thought would be a bit more difficult?
It was more of a game thing. Like, managing to collapse that means that the Sphinx had the mobility to go around, and I didn't have to worry too much about this door.
Yep.
Because like this door was my problem the whole game. Like, you had the TO
Swiss Guard
there, so I couldn't bring the link out. So I had to come up and around, and that's basically what I did. As for the table,
how's it look? What do you think? What do you think about the
visually?
The
it looks really good.
Nice. I haven't painted it yet. I'm gonna try and paint up a couple of corridors and put it in the show notes, or put it in the comments, and we'll see how it goes. Now, I thought you were pretty clever over here. So you got it was Kernal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who threw a repeater out with his picture, and shut down my Aquila Guard with white noise, ironically enough. And yeah, so you were able to sort of take the Aquila out, and he had a few issues there. And then, yeah, basically the Sphinx came down and wrecked my Link team sort of one by one. I managed to take out your Q-Drone pretty early on with the Peacemaker. And what I think really cost me was I activated the Swiss Guard to attack the Sphinx, and I forgot that the repeater was there, and you've then gone and mobilised him and shut him down for the rest of the game. And then he basically sucker punched to death as he tried to reset. So really good. Listen, I really enjoyed it. I think it's certainly playable. I think so. Coming up now, you're playing at the Interplanetario. You're playing at a major tournament. You come up against this table. Do you have the same trepidation having got a game on something similar?
No. I would look specifically for the doors and how they relate to the deployment zones, because that is the biggest thing for this table for me.
Yeah.
As I was saying at the start of the game, like I was super worried about your flamer bot coming down here, because like I was deployed back from the doors.
Well, you sorted that out because you started with your Icodron sort of over here, didn't you? So I knew I couldn't run him up without copying at least one flame. But no, I thought you played pretty well. And the old Malignos just sat in the centre room for pretty much the whole game and controlled that.
3 points seems fine.
Seems fine, yeah. So you played that very well. But listen, personally, my thoughts. I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was good fun. It was a little bit different. There was enough. Were you happy there was enough cover in the?
Yeah, due to the way the door frames slope, that means you're always getting cover.
Yeah, I thought that's important. I know on the Kickstarter there are some sort of barriers that you can hook across, and like I said, I really just got a little bit of scatter terrain in this, which worked perfectly fine. But if you sort of mix your scatter terrain up, I think you could quite easily get some better cover. So no, really good.
I'd love to see this table themed like the Sulaco from Aliens.
Oh yes, no, very good.
Like cryopods everywhere.
Cryopods everywhere. No, very good, very good. Listen, thanks so much for the game. Very well played. Well won. We're going to play each other at Karrakata, I'm sure. But so that's our thoughts after the game. And what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to have a go at painting them up. Have you painted MDF before?
I paid someone to do it.
I'm pretty sure I've got to seal it first, so I'm going to give it a crack. I'm just going to use some spray cans, and I'll see.
You can get cheap cans of Rust-Oleum from Bunnings for like $8 each or something.
Perfect. So for those overseas, yeah, I'm going to get some. I'll get some sealant. I'll seal it up. I'll give it a spray paint, and like I said, in the comments on the Facebook page, I'll throw up some pictures of how it looks. But for now, that is. Oh, put my hand in front of the camera. That is White Noise. And that's a wrap.